I know. I know. Everyone's going to say the same thing. The comments on this video are going to get pretty exciting because a lot of people seem to have opinions on gun oils and solvents and whatnot. And for the most part, I agree that oil is oil. Um, you can use pretty much whatever you want, and it's all going to be fairly effective. You can use automotive oil, 10W30, pretty much whatever, and the gun's going to run fine. Truth of the matter is that guns are robust enough, and they really don't put off enough heat to really burn up your modern oils, pretty much any modern oil, unless you're running something full auto or suppressed or something along those lines. But this is just a kind of a rundown on the stuff that I've used and the stuff I still use now. And frankly, I kind of like to collect it because I feel like it kind of gives you like a place in time reference. A lot of this stuff comes out and it's the new kid on the block and it gets bought up, and of course there's paid ads and whatnot now, and shills that will show you a product and then it just kind of disappears over time. There have been so many gun oils and solvents and companies that are still around now. I mean, you go on Midway or something like that, and you go to the gun cleaning section and you look up lubes and oils and whatnot, lubes, oils, solvents, CLPs, whatever, and there are just mountains of the stuff, pages and pages and pages of this stuff, and some I had never even heard before I did this video, and I thought I had a pretty good selection, but I don't. We'll start off with what I first started using, and it's kind of pretty much what everyone starts using when you first start out with guns. Apologize, by the way, they're doing some road work outside my house, so if you hear Jake brakes and stuff like that, my apologies. But anyways, getting back to it, is I started with Hoppy's number 9. My dad taught me how to clean and maintain guns when I was maybe 5, 6 years old, and I did it up to that point because, frankly, he hated to clean guns. He's not really the best at maintenance to begin with, so he decided, hey, he's old enough now. He can start taking care of the guns. So before hunting, or after hunting season, it was my job to get the guns cleaned up, put away, and whatnot like that. So I used Hoppy's number 9 because that's basically what he had. And man, I got to tell you, I used that stuff for years, and I hate it. I hate it. The smell and just it's instantly headache inducing to me. It's like acrid kerosene or something. I don't know. It's horrible. I mean, it works well. It really does. It is an incredible solvent. But man, I tell you what, I just couldn't get over it. I just hated the smell. And it, like I said, it gave me instant headaches. But man, I tell you what, it did work, and it worked well. I do still have a bottle of it. I have no idea where. I looked and looked, and I couldn't find it. So I have no idea what happened to it. I have no idea where it went. I don't know if it got lost in a move or something. I have no idea. So I don't have a bottle of that currently available, but I do know it's somewhere. It was around 12, 13, I decided I wanted something different, something that I could use that wasn't going to, destroy me and tear me up. And the Hoppy's is so toxic. It just has things in it that are not great in any way. And I understand the argument of, well, you're shooting firearms, the lead and powder fouling and stuff like that. Well, that's all toxic too. Well, yeah, sure. But if I can reduce toxicity, I want to. And plus that stuff was just highly irritating to me. So I tried frog lube. And now we know that frog lube is kind of garbage. It gums up. It tends to get gummy. It's not bad. It really isn't on stuff that you're going to like regularly maintain, but I definitely wouldn't recommend it if you're going to put stuff away into storage and then expect to be able to take it out and shoot it. You store something for, a year or two, and then you take it out and then you start shooting it. That's just not going to work for you. It tends to gum. The Liquid tends to gum up worse than the paste, in my opinion. This is the paste here. I do have a bottle of liquid. I just decided to have one. Um, Frankly, this stuff was. I pretty much swore this stuff off with the gumming issue until I got into suppressors. Now, I found a new use for it, and that is suppressors, like in a rimfire can, wiping down the baffles with it and then shooting. The cleaning is so simple with this, and I don't know if that's because it just provides a barrier in between. I don't know if there's something in it. I'm pretty sure this stuff's just coconut oil with like wintergreen smell in it. Smells good actually, and it is non-toxic, so that's all well and good. Uh, but yeah, I mean, it works great. Now I use this for suppressors, and this was a fairly new container, and I've used a ton of it in suppressors, and I got to tell you, it's awesome for that. So if you have an old bottle of this laying around, you're like, I swore that crap off because it gummed up my stuff, and it didn't, it wasn't the best. Try it on your suppressors. Wipe your baffles down and then go to clean it. I'm telling you, like 90% of the crap just kind of wipes off, especially in like rimfire cans. It's really good. Then I decided I wanted to try something that wasn't quite so gummy, didn't gum up as bad, and I like pretty much everyone else, I watched Hickok 45, so I tried Ballistol. Now this is like the collector bottle or whatever, but I thought it was cool, so I bought one. I don't even know if you can still get those anymore, but if you can, I mean, it looks good on a shelf, I suppose. Ballistol is good. Ballistol for me performed well. It didn't gum up. It didn't harm wood. It didn't harm finishes. It seems somewhat lubricitous, if that's even a word. The smell is not great. Kind of smells like onions or something. I don't know. It's weird. Not particularly pleasant smell. But Ballistol is awesome for black powder, and that's where I resort to Ballistol for, is on my black powder firearms. I mix it, with water, and you clean out the barrels, and they don't flash rust because there's that oil layer. It incorporates with water. It mixes with water well, so it turns kind of milky and like pale white, and it works fantastic on black powder. So Ballistol now has become, strictly speaking, black powder. I use it on all black powder, and that's what I'm going to stick with. I really like it for black powder. Now, on your regular firearms, it still works good. Ballistol is a very good all-arounder. It does everything okay. It doesn't do anything great. It offers some rust prevention, not a ton. Some lubrication, not a ton. Some cleaning. It's actually a pretty good cleaner. I will give it higher marks in cleaning capabilities, but as the history of it is extremely long. It was developed by the Germans, I want to say, in World War One. They used it for a really long time, and actually, Ballistol was used as a wound cleaner at one point, as disinfection for wound cleaning. It has a lot of uses actually that are pretty neat. So Ballistol is cool stuff. I do keep a bottle or a can or two around. Actually, in my range bag right now, I have a small aerosol can of Ballistol. But Ballistol works, and it does pretty well. That's when, Ballistol with the smell and whatnot was kind of annoying. So then I decided to try Breakthrough Clean. This stuff is probably my favorite. It uses two parts. I use the solvent and then the lube, and I use the HP Pro lube. It's been my favorite, and that's for a couple reasons. It has absolutely zero smell. I mean, very, 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 very slight, maybe smell to it, like a chemical odor, but it is it's like nothing. Unless you're hovering right over top of it when you're cleaning, there is very little smell to it. And B, it's non-toxic. It's non-irritating. It's non-toxic. It's safe to use on pretty much every finish. Um, and the lube was great. It's not a super heavy lube. It is viscous, but it's good. I have no complaints with Breakthrough. I really like how their SDS is readily available on their website. That's huge to me. If you don't make an SDS readily available on your website, I'll give up on your product. I don't even want to. I don't care anymore. I like seeing that. I like it being available. The difference between these two is this is a grease and this is the oil. Grease I use on slide rails. Oil is for everything else. I do like the grease for slide rails, specifically in firearms that have full length guide rails like 1911s and Sig 226s. The oil is pretty much for everything else. Your Glocks and your modern striker fired stuff that doesn't really need a ton of lubrication. I really like the Breakthrough Clean. It to me is pretty much my favorite. I probably won't be switching to pretty much anything else. I am currently trying the Slip 2000. It's okay. Oh, it's all right. It's a CLP, so it's a one stage. I guess they do have a cleaner too or whatever. I don't know. I was given this as a gift, and yeah, sure, it's fine. I guess I don't really have a whole lot to say about it. The best lube that I've used, just pure like lube. I guess there's two lubes that I've used that are best, and the guns feel the slickest. I don't know if they particularly worked better, but they definitely felt better, and that was the Lucas Extreme gun oil, which I don't have. I gave that to a buddy. That stuff ruled. It was awesome for lubrication. And then the ALG Go Juice. This is an old bottle of Go Juice. You can see, like, I've used it a lot, and it lasts for damn near ever. This is the old kind. You can see it's still purple. The new kind is like, I don't know, like regular 10W30 oil colored, regular car oil colored, but this is the old purple stuff. It works extremely well. There's very little odor. Again, non-toxic. You guys are noticing a theme here, aren't you? Non-toxic is really important to me because I worked in the automotive field for a long time, and man, I tore myself up with chemicals. The amount of used oil and heavy metals and stuff that I took into my body when I was stupid and didn't use gloves and proper PPE and whatnot was foolish. And I don't want to exacerbate those issues anymore. So almost everything I try to use and I use now is non-toxic and non-irritating. And I don't care if I have to scrub the gun a little bit longer to get it done. It doesn't bother me knowing that I'm not having those harmful solvents go into my body. I now wear gloves when I clean guns. I use D-Lead hand soap when I'm done cleaning guns. You older guys out there are going to be like, what a pussy. Well, yeah, maybe, but I just don't want to have that stuff in my body, as little of it as possible. So, everything I use tends to be non-toxic and non-irritating. You're looking at this over here. This is Fiend Oil. I got a couple cans of this because I thought the can was neat. Apparently this was originally a firearms lubricant way back in the day. I haven't done a ton of research on it, but the bottle's cool. It's definitely more chemical smell. It's almost like a Hoppies. I don't really use this for gun cleaning as much as I use it kind of like Croil, which I love Croil and Aero Croil. I use those in my day-to-day life all the time for stuck bolts and whatnot. What I use this for is very similar to Croil. It's a penetrant, so I will heat a stubborn screw up or something like that on a muzzle loader or whatnot, and I'll put a couple drops of this on it, wait, heat it up again, another couple drops, wait, quench, and then it usually backs right out. So it's good for that, but I don't use it for like general cleaning. I do have it here because it is part of my firearms cleaning kit, but it isn't used for cleaning. I imagine it works okay. Um, but I really don't know. I haven't used it for cleaning, but it does good for penetration and whatnot, and it looks neat. So that's what that's doing there. Uh, these two items right here are really for knife maintenance, but I got to tell you, I've been using them on firearms, and I'm thoroughly impressed. EDCI uh, was put out, I want to say in like 2013, 2014 as a an EDC carry protectant, so it would prevent rusts and whatnot on your knives. So I figured if it's good for that, it's got to be good for the slides on guns that I carry. I carry a 365 SIG, and I wipe down the slide with this to prevent rust and whatnot. Especially in the summer, it's really moist here. It's high humidity, so I use this for the slides, and when I wipe it on the slides to keep rust prevention along with my knives. So it works absolutely fantastic for that. And then I switched to a KPL instead of the Aegis. It's a little bit thicker. Provides a little bit more of a film. And this stuff rules. I mean, it takes gunk off blades if you're carrying a knife and you get like the packing tape and stuff on them from cutting open packages and whatnot. Takes it right off. Again, non-toxic. The SDS is readily available right on KPL's website. I can't stress that enough. If any chemical suppliers and companies are putting out lubricants and protectants and whatnot, and they don't have an SDS readily available, there's probably a reason for that. So this stuff goes on the slide, and I wipe down the gun with it, and I'm telling you, it prevents rust and corrosion, and it cleans stuff off blades, it cleans smears and smudges and all that tape residue. So this stuff rules. Generally speaking, I think lubes and firearm maintenance and whatnot are really overthought by a lot of people. There are tons and tons and tons and tons of threads out there. Oh, what lube? What should I use? Guys, it all works. It really does. It all works. It just depends on what exactly you want out of it. Do you want something non-toxic? If you don't care about toxicity, piss on it. Use whatever you want. Brake cleaner is amazing on firearms. It might hurt your finish, it might hurt your grips, it might hurt your wood, but if you got a really crusty gun and it's stainless or whatever, you can hose it down with brake clean and clean it out really, really well. Brake clean works great in the bores. So you get really bad like fouling, and you get a bunch of copper fouling and stuff like that. Brake clean will strip that crap right out. There's chemicals that are available to do a wide range of things, and people really overthink it because it's a firearm that they get nervous. But really, don't overthink it. It will all work. Just use it properly. Oil lightly. Use your solvents. Heavy. Spray it down. Get it good and coated. Get it wiped off. Use friction to your advantage. Use your bore brushes. Use your toothbrushes. Use your stuff. And generally, you won't have any issues if you use stuff properly, except for all glue. That stuff will gum up on you if you leave it in your gun. You put too much on for too long. I've personally experienced that. But yeah, guys, don't overthink it. It all works. It's all overpriced. Generally, it's all the same thing in a different bottle. In my opinion, find something non-toxic. Find something that works for you that's non-toxic and doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. I've spent way too much money on products that generally work just the same as another product. So don't overthink it. I do have some favorites. Like I said, I really like the Breakthrough Clean. I like the Breakthrough Battleborn Grease and the Battleborn Lubricant. Those are kind of my go-tos. And the KPL Knife Shield and the EDCI for rust prevention on carry firearms is fantastic. Everything else on this table, and the Ballistol, of course, for black powder, but pretty much everything on this table is, in one way or another, interchangeable. So don't overthink it. Get something decent. You can use full synthetic motor oil, and that's perfectly fine. You can use the mix of the, what is it, ATF and I don't know, ATF and snake oil and magic juice and whatever everyone else uses to clean their stuff. It all works. So don't overthink it. Alrighty, guys. A controversial video out of the way. I appreciate your time very much. Thanks.